What made you fear the woman you once loved? The blood wouldn't stop. Layla gripped the hospital bed rail as another contraction emptied what should have been our daughter Brooke. I held her hand, making a stupid joke about how, at least we don't have to argue about sleep training. The nursery stayed untouched for 3 weeks. The mobile played You Are My Sunshine on repeat until I carried my zombie wife to community church. Watching those women surround her with casseroles and prayers, seeing her smile for the first time since the hospital, I understood the appeal of believing someone had a plan in this nightmare. Layla latched onto Pastor Adam's sermons about purpose through pain, like a drowning woman to driftwood. She attended every service, Bible study, and volunteer event, led prayer circles with infectious energy that made me fall in love with her again. Desperate to see my wife happy again, the elders praised her constantly. If only everyone had Layla's dedication. She tithed 10%, then 15%, reasonable amounts that showed commitment. Started a grief support group for others that had suffered a loss. Posted inspirational verses on our fridge. When she suggested we pray together nightly, I joined her, joking, at least we're saving money on therapy. Even her sister commented how faith had given Layla purpose again. Pastor Adam asked her to join the worship team. She'd replaced a cheap wine box with Bible study, but honestly, seeing her engaged with life again felt like answered prayers I hadn't even known I'd been praying for. Then the tithing jumped to 30% of my salary. God multiplies what we give, she explained while I watched our savings drain. Post-it notes evolved from love is patient on the coffee maker to the lukewarm shall be spewed from his mouth on my beer fridge. She quit her marketing job to volunteer full-time. When I mentioned mortgages don't accept treasures in heaven, she quoted Proverbs while cutting up credit cards with scissors she'd blessed. She fasted for 80 hours, fainting in Whole Foods, and called it a spiritual breakthrough. Threw away Brooke's ultrasounds because we shouldn't harbor false idols. Started documenting Pastor Adam's compromises, his contemporary examples in sermons, the worship leader's jewelry, members checking phones, severity ratings from venial to abomination. She presented these reports after service like internal affairs. Her sister's intervention ended with Layla declaring, I rebuke Satan speaking through you, and running barefoot into traffic, causing a 3-car pileup she called God parting the sea of vehicles. She moved into the church basement after I suggested counseling, created a 47-page reformation document for the church, demanding week-long fasts, public confession of everyone's sins, married couples abstaining because end times require purity. Started calling herself God's chosen prophetess. Pastor Adam's admiration turned to visible fear. I joked, at least she's passionate about something, but nobody laughed anymore. On October 15th, she interrupted the children's sermon shouting, God told me you're all compromising. A gas can hidden under her choir robe. That's why she'd been wearing it to every service. She'd already barricaded the doors with communion tables, claiming angels confirmed her authority to purify God's house with fire if they didn't implement her 47-page reformation immediately. Parents shielded kids under pews. She shrieked that every soul she saved would earn back Brooke, that our daughter would be resurrected through holiness. Security couldn't reach her. She'd planned this meticulously. Layla, please, Pastor Adam begged. Think about the children. Their parents' compromises damn them anyway. She started dousing the back pews. Better they burn pure than live lukewarm. I gave the police information on how to sneak in through an old blocked-up door. She'd call me Judas for that later. SWAT negotiators found her journals at our house. The same line repeated over and over. Every soul I save earns back what I lost. It took 8 hours of negotiation, while parents inside whispered prayers that sounded more like whimpers. When they finally deployed tear gas, she'd already psychologically destroyed 3 families. The Henderson's 5-year-old hasn't left his house since. She shrieked biblical curses and YouTube learned Hebrew as they dragged her out, calling the congregation Babylonian whores and SWAT Roman centurions. Pastor Adam took a sabbatical that became permanent. I think he sells insurance now. 47 people could have died because I ignored the signs. Told myself grief explains everything. Made jokes instead of getting help. Layla's in psychiatric lockdown, where she's recruited 12 followers called Layla's Remnant. Her roommate fasted 3 weeks under Layla's mentorship before they found her unconscious. I remarried someone who thinks Easter and Christmas church is plenty. We have a son, Austin. Last week a package arrived with Brooke's ultrasound, a picture of Austin circled in red, and a note, God showed me where you live, and now you have something real to lose. The facility swears she has no outside contact. I check our cameras every night, terrified that one day I'll see her.